Economists define money as a medium of exchange. Before, I guess, we invented money, and before even civilization or there were human beings, the original currency of society was kindness. We can see this today in sort of monkey troops, that monkeys can sort of buy their way up the social ladder through acts of kindness. For example, like social grooming. Male chimpanzees will share their meat from the hunts with female chimpanzees for literally hot monkey love. And in our modern society, we've kind of have lost this notion that kindness is kind of a social currency. I work with a lot of sort of angry, bitter, lonely male computer nerds who are convinced that the only way to get a woman is to be a rich asshole. And this doesn't sort of jibe with what I kind of know about women, that when women get together with their female friends and talk about their husbands or their boyfriends, that you never hear a woman sort of go, you know, my boyfriend is such a fucking asshole, I'm so in love. And, you know, the other women never sort of go, oh, you're so lucky to be dating a fucking asshole. And does he have a brother? Is he single? But you know, my male friends are convinced that you know, that nice guys finish last. And I had a woman friend, and she had a sort of very good take on that idea that, you know, nice guys finish last. She was sort of dating your classical nice guy, and but the problem was he wasn't kind of making a move, and thank you. And he wasn't sort of making. See, a nice guy would just sort of go, "Oh, I'm sorry. Continue with your phone call." No, so he wasn't sort of, you know, making a move, and she sort of complained to me. She's like, you know, if nice guys finish last, it's because they always insist upon the woman carrying them over the finish line, and ultimately, you know, nice is important, but you need something else, like nice plus interesting, or nice plus, you know, he's really passionate about his job, or nice plus, hey, I'm in a band, and you know, if you're a real nice guy, niceness is not sort of a one-on-one transaction, although, you know, it would be kind of ultimately nice if you could exchange maybe, you know, dinners at a Brazilian steakhouse for, you know, a night of hot monkey love. But you know, when you're a really nice guy, you sort of just know that, you know, niceness is like, it's like a card game. Really good card players just have an intuitive sense that, you know, they'll put a card down and they're not sure what they're gonna do with that card, but they have an intuitive sense that at some point that card will come back into play. And I myself sort of learned this in the late 1980s. I was dating this woman. She had the same name as a female rock star in the 80s, so a very distinctive name. So to sort of preserve her anonymity, because she's on my Facebook and will eventually hopefully see the YouTube video of this, and to sort of keep it in sort of sync with modern times, I'll call her Lady Gaga. So one Saturday I had a date with Lady Gaga, and a few hours before I was to, you know, pick her up at work, my best friend Steve called. I can use his name because he's actually dead now. But Steve called, and he's like, I've got 2 tickets to go see Sting. You know, would you want to go? Now, all of my friends knew I was just a huge fan of the Police and Sting. I guess blonde alpha males with slightly receding hairlines were kind of heroes to me or something. So but I had to tell him, like, you know, I'd love to go, but I've made a date with Lady Gaga, and I don't want to break a date with her. You know, I don't want to leave her high and dry on a Saturday night. So I go to her work to pick her up, and she worked in a shoe store at the mall, the ghetto mall, actually, sort of right across from a really nasty strip bar, and so I picked her up, and we're driving to the restaurant, and we're going to go see, you like a movie and go for dinner. And on the way to the restaurant, Sting comes on the radio, and she's like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't go see the Sting concert. He's in town. And I'm like, well, funny thing, my friend Steve called and said he had Sting tickets and wanted to know if I wanted to go. And I said, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to break a date with you. And she sort of got upset at me. She's like, if the roles were reversed, I would have ditched you in a moment and, saw my favorite band. And I think her sort of anger was kind of because, maybe I was more committed to the relationship than she was or something. But, being a nice guy, I sort of apologized for my kindness or whatever. And so whatever, the date went well. And then the next weekend, I had another date with her, and I picked her up at her work, and we're sort of walking to my car, and she's kind of unusually happy. And when I say unusually happy, I mean she was happy for a change. She's kind of one of these people where she just couldn't get joy out of life, that like her neighbor had got the dump truck of happiness dumped on his lawn, and she didn't get her dump truck of happiness. And she was always like, well, where's my dump truck? Like, why did he get the dump truck? I didn't get the dump truck of happiness. And for most of us, life is not an endless convoy of dump trucks of happiness, that we have to sort of suck the joy out of life, like sort of marrow from the dry bones life sort of serves us. And she kind of wasn't willing to do that. But anyway, so I'm like, you seem kind of happy tonight, dear. And she's like, well, yeah, before you came, all day at work, my coworker Stacy, and I've subsequently learned that all women have a friend named Stacy, someone who either they compare themselves to or they're being compared to, and never favorably. So she says that, all their whole shift, Stacy's like, my boyfriend's coming to get me after work. We're going to go on this nice date. My boyfriend drives a GTO. My boyfriend takes karate. My boyfriend has 2 different kinds of American beer in his fridge. And it's just kind of like driving her insane. And sort of shortly before I came, Stacy's boyfriend shows up, and he's with another guy. And so Stacy's boyfriend's like, I just came by to tell you I'm not actually taking you out on a date. Me and my friend, we're going to this strip bar. Our favorite porn star is headlining, and sorry, bye. Make it up to you, hun. So my girlfriend, Lady Gaga, she's like, at that point I sort of realized you gave me the trump card in this battle of wits with Stacy, that I could have said to her, I'd like to empathize with you, Stacy, but last weekend my boyfriend gave up a concert, Sting concert to keep a date with me, so I don't know what to say to you. And, while maybe I date maybe some of the unhappiest women in Canada, I don't date, douchebags. And I like to think that nice people eventually find nice people. Thank you.